welcome to Hunting Bee Apiary. Today we are getting ready to inspect one of our beehives for 2021. We've had an amazing year so far. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've had just a barrage of different things happening on our apiary. So this hive came out of winter. They were a little bit on the smaller side, so I've been feeding them. So far so good. I haven't had a chance to check them yet because I've been letting them do their own thing. But out of a double deep, they ended up only having 1.5 deeps full. So they did okay. They lived through the winter, which is exciting. But I need to check on their colony health, find out how they're doing, how are all their frames doing, and things like that. So this is them today. They look a lot bigger. So here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 out of 10 frames going so far. There's a frame down here that's broken, so this frame's gonna have to be swapped out eventually. It's got a ton of stores in it, but the frame is actually broken. I can see that it's totally sunk down again, even though I've put a rock in there. I've done different things to help it out. So that's kind of a problem we've been dealing with, is just some of our equipment's not the best equipment so far that we realize. So that's the only bad part about that. But in the meantime, I need to check both of my deeps and find out how the bees are doing. So I have a guest with me today. She is going to help me with my inspections. But right here you can see that the end, this has a rock on it because the whole entire frame broke. So one of these days I need to swap this out for sure. That'll help out a lot. So I'm just gonna set this frame here. Okay, now we need to go through our boxes and find out exactly how they're doing. So I do know that a couple of these frames they've been working on are new. So this one looks really good. We've got a ton of honey on here, so that's really good. Okay. Let me take a look and see how everything else is going with the view of the camera. That is my helper right there. Her name is Gatlin, so she's helping me right now, and she's going to be helping me do all of my inspections, right, Miss Gatlin? Mm-hmm. Yep. So she's a good person to have as an extra set of hands, that's for sure. So with this beehive, here we go. So yes, I've been feeding them. They're doing really well. This right here is a frame, and on this frame is, you can see the beeswax that they're creating, which is good. I'm going to need to spray this with sugar syrup because I did not wax this frame. This foundation does not have any wax on it, but they've been doing a pretty good job. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and spray this with sugar syrup that I have available. It does have some lavender in it, so that's going to be good. It's nice calming essential oil. So I prefer just to go ahead and spray them down. So I'll spray this down, and then I'll toss this frame with foundation back in here. This will encourage the bees to start building beeswax on here. So we're just going to gently set this in here right now. Doesn't matter about the exact spot for this because we are going to be putting it all back together in just a minute. Okay, it's a nice hot day today. It's supposed to be mid-80s. It's going to be terribly hot today, in my opinion. That's pretty hot considering. And then here we go. So this frame right here looks really good. There is a queen cup cell right there that I can see on there, so I'll come over here and show you. But this frame looks really, really good. You can see that they're building a lot of foundation. I do see fresh eggs in here, which is awesome. So the queen is laying up top. And then right here is our queen cup cell. So right there is our queen cup cell. If there's an egg in there, then I know that they're gonna go ahead and try to create a queen, and it looks like there's no egg in there at all. So that's really, really good. Otherwise, that's what we have going on. We do have some pollen right here. This is all pollen that they put in there. And this is all their honey crown. They're building a honey crown. Yep. Yep, they're making honey. And then on the bottom here is another queen cup cell right here that they're building. So we'll have to check that. Just 2, the one here and the one here. So what we should do is flip this frame. Let's double check inside of here that there is not an egg. And it doesn't look like there's an egg, which is good, but we can probably remove this queen cup cell. They know it's a queen cup cell, so we'll set that aside. Otherwise, that's it for this frame. It looks really, really good.
I see the queen cup cell.
Yeah, the queen cup cell. The queen will go ahead and lay an egg in here, and then the bees will go ahead and make it into a queen because the queen does not know that she's actually laying an egg in their queen cup cell. So that happens, and then they'll end up making another queen, and they will stop feeding the original queen for a few days and make her skinny enough to fly, and then they will leave with half of the colony with her, and then this hive will be left behind and create a new queen. So here we go. This is a perfect frame right here. You have a ton of brood on here, which is awesome. On the other side, I do have another queen cup cell, but right here on the bottom, you can see that the hive got ripped apart when I removed the frame. And this is what we're seeing right now. Right down here is a bunch of babies. These are baby drones right here. So if I were to check on these drones, you can actually pull them out and see. You can hold it. It's a baby drone. He's just not going to be born now. So that happens whenever you open them up. If they make the drones on the bottom, that happens a lot. So, but this is a good way to check for mites. So you can actually see the baby drone there, and I can scrape these off and actually check for mites, and so that's a good way to get rid of the mites as well. They do. They look kind of like little aliens. They have big googly eyes. Yeah. They're a little... Is he? Well, he is alive in there. He's just pulled out prematurely. That happens. So there's really not much you can do other than just kind of take care of him and see if there's any mites in here, and then you know that you have a problem.
Can we like put him back in?
You can put him back in. If you put him back in, he will not live regardless, and so the queen will go ahead, not the queen,
Oh my gosh.
the worker bees will take care of him, and they will remove him, and you'll find him on the ground a few days later. So that does happen. So really there's not much you can do about it once you've accidentally pulled him out. Yeah. So they'll pull him out anyways because he's going to end up being alone now. Here's another one right here, a little baby. But you can actually check for mites that way. They are kind of slimy. Yep, that's a thing, I know. Okay. So we got a couple guard bees right here. They're just kind of hanging out. So they are... Yeah, there's her tongue. So they are kind of just hanging out and stuff like that. But we're going to go ahead and see how the rest of the frames are doing. So here we go. Gatlin, here we go. Look at this frame. Look at all the bees on this frame, Gatlin. Do you see all the babies? These are babies that are going to be born. So all of these are babies that are capped, going to be born, and then there's a bunch of drones on the bottom as well. So you can see that. These ones are all going to be born soon. So this hive is doing really, really well. Because there are so many bees in here that are going to be born very soon, we have a few options. We can either A, split this beehive if both of the deeps have a ton of bees, and we can make one hive into two, or B, we can add a honey super and let the bees produce honey. Hold on. Hey, hold on. That's probably a drone. So the drones have big googly eyes. Here's a drone bee right here. Look. Here's a drone right there. That's a drone right there. Do you see him? That's a drone bee right there. Here's a queen cup cell right here, okay? So we're going to remove this queen cup cell. Underneath it is honey. But we're going to remove that queen cup cell because the bees are creating fake queen cup cells that don't have anything in them yet, but they may potentially end up creating a queen, and we don't want that because then we would have to make a decision on splitting or not. Yep, so far so good. This looks really, really good. The hive is doing amazing, but yeah, they do. Which, hey, careful, don't put your veil against your face. If you put your veil against your face, there's a potential that if she accidentally does something, you could end up getting stung in the face. So you make sure you don't put your veil against your face, okay? Okay, this is a lot of bees in here. They're doing really, really well. Yep, this is good. This is good. Okay, so we have so far 3 full frames full of brood, which is all of the baby bees. So, and they're all capped in various stages. Hello, worker bee. Oh, her wings are all tattered. Do you want to see? So this bee right here, there's a bee right here that's crawling underneath my watch. If you look right here, her wings are really, really tattered. She looks kind of different colored right here. Hold on, I'll show you. So she is an older worker bee. Their wings are all crumbly, and they have like not a lot of good prettiness on their wings, and that means that they've been flying for a long time. Yep, those are old worker bees, yep. Okay, so here's another frame. Ouch, I just got stung because I accidentally pinched the bee. So now that I got stung, you can see what it's like to get stung. I need to get the stinger out. So I got to use my hive tool and get the stinger out immediately. Now what I like to do whenever I get stung, because I accidentally squished her, is put honey on it immediately. The honey will cover up the alarm pheromones, and this is an inconvenient spot to get stung on your finger. The honey will suck out the venom immediately. Yep, it'll suck out the poison. Okay, back to what he was doing. So I need to get this out of here and check it, but she was right here and I pinched her on accident, so that hurt. Okay, so this frame has a lot of bees in here as well. There's a bunch of eggs, a bunch of eggs. They're not capped or anything yet, but this hive is showing that they are very healthy. They are very full. So it's only a matter of time where if we leave them alone, they will end up swarming. So I think what would be best for the colony, well, that's what I was trying to explain earlier, was swarming is when the bees will go ahead and create another queen, and they will also take the old queen with them and stop feeding her for a while to make her skinny enough to fly. Yeah. And then they're going to take the queen and they're going to leave and go somewhere far away.
Why
So
can't she fly normally?
she can't normally fly because she's already mated and nice and big, and so with her she weighs too much, and so she's not able to fly. So she flies normally only twice in her life. The first time is whenever she goes on a mating flight. The second time is if they swarm. Okay, so this is it for this whole entire section of the beehive, Gatlin. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and put everything right back where it was, but this hive looks like a really good candidate to put honey on. So we can actually put a honey super on here once we go through our next box. We should be able to put a honey super on and then see if these bees want to go ahead and produce honey. So that's what we can work on, okay? Watch out your fingers. Here I come. I got to move them back to normal, okay? So you just want to watch your fingers real quick because we're going to pick these up and put the frames back, okay? Well, that's a good question. Why are there numbers on my frames? The numbers on my frames represent how many years old that these frames are. So every 5 years, they say that you're supposed to replace your frames, okay? So with that being said, my frames are numbered 18, 19, 20. So I began beekeeping in 2018. So some of these frames are from 2018. Some of the frames are from 2020. Some of the frames are dated and have never been used. So that happens as well. You're going to hear a lot of noises, Gatlin. The noises you're going to hear for a lot of it are actually the drones flying around. The drones are having a good old time just flying around right now, and they do sound like little flies. So they make quite a bit of noise. Okay, so this is the broken frame that I have. It does not squish the bees. It does make the frames tighter, but not necessarily squish them all together. So we got to make the frames nice and tight the way that they were. It's called bee space. If you have anything that's too much space, the bees will create a lot of bird comb, which is where we get a ton of our beeswax from. Otherwise, the bees like to have 3/8 inch or so of bee space. And that's why it's important that you take lots of classes to learn beekeeping. That way you understand the bees and you know what to do for your bees, okay? If you don't do that, it's very easy to kill your bees off in the winter. It's very easy to not help your bees in the way that they need to be helped. And if you don't do a lot of bee school, then you don't know what you're looking for. And so you want to keep a nice, healthy colony, okay, Gatlin? You want to take as much advantage of school that you can so you can understand what you're working with. All your little bees are super important. So you can't just have them as pets and then not help them live. It's not a thing. You got to really take care of your bees, okay? All right, here we go. I'm going to crack this box open, okay? Here we go. You ready? Are you ready? Yep. We're going to open the second one, okay? Let's see. Let's give them some sugar syrup to work on. They can hang out there and they'll just clean each other. It does calm them down a little bit. You can either use smoke, but this hive I'm going to use sugar syrup. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me get this hive open real quick. This one's pretty sticky with all the propolis. They've sealed up their hive real quick. Here we go. I'm going to pick up this beehive. It's very, very heavy, okay? Ugh. Okay. Why are they doing that? Well, the reason they're doing that is because, like I told you, all the drones are down here, see? So they actually glued the drones to the bottom, so that's what they ended up doing. They ended up gluing all the drones to the bottom, see? So we're gonna spray them with sugar syrup a little bit. You see how many bees are up here and not a lot of bees down here? We need to check that out. Why is that? We need to find out if the bees are down here and what are they doing, okay? So first we gotta do the same thing we just did, okay? Ready? What's wrong? Is there a bee in your suit? Okay, are you sure? Okay, we're gonna go frame by frame. We're almost done. So in order to get your beehive ready, okay? We gotta go like this. Yep. So we gotta take this one out of here. So this is a good frame to move around. This one's empty. You know, there might be some stuff going on in here. Hold on, Gatlin. Yeah, you can pick out the dead bees or just leave them there. Here we go. You ready? Here's another frame that's kind of interesting. This one's empty and wonky. Oh, she scared me. She was all like vibrating and stuff. I don't think she was gonna do anything. She just was kind of being kind of crazy. Maybe a little disoriented. It's a little busy up in here right now. So we're gonna try to scrape off this frame and clean off this frame real quick while we can.
I see a bee with pollen on its legs.
Aww.
But also it's trying to fly, but its wings are doing its thing, but it won't come off the ground.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they get into some poison, and that's unfortunate, and that usually happens when they come back from pollinating. So you'll see them, and they've gotten into some poison, and that's how you can tell, and it really affects them. It's not a good thing. So I'm scraping off some of the yuckies off this frame real quick. Hold on, we're going to check our next one, okay? You ready? We got to check for the queen, okay? Here we go, Gatlin. Okay, so this frame is empty. So you know a good rule of thumb would be, Gatlin, is depending upon the bees, we might have to go ahead. I'm trying to clean off these frames so they're a little bit dirty from last season. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we might have to go ahead and swap these boxes around. So it looks like they're filling up the top when they need to fill up the bottom. So we'll put the bottom, the top on the bottom, and the bottom on the top. Usually you do that in the springtime anyways. And we have not been checking on this beehive because they were so small. We just wanted to leave them alone. But the bees like to move vertically. Okay, let's see if we can spot your queen. Yeah, they like to move up and down. And they like to move up. Side to side. Very good. Okay. I don't see any queen here, but I do see some babies that are born. Some little fuzzy teddy bears. Yeah. Look at the baby. Right there. There she is. Look at fuzzy teddy bear. Look at her. Isn't she pretty? I know. They're so pretty. Look. They're babies. They can't fly yet. But on their 21st birthday, they'll fly. Okay. So, yeah, on their 21st day of being alive, they will fly. So we're going to set these frames aside. I really believe we need to flip this whole entire hive around. So we're going to flip. Oh, here's a drone. Here he comes, little guy. Look, there's a drone bee. He's big. Look at that. Oh, there he goes. He's flying. Yay for flying. I know, right? Super cool that they are. Okay, so there's some drones on here. I am looking to see if we, excuse me, can see the queen. So watch out, Gatlin. Here we go, okay? I gotta move around this whole...
Where would you think the queen would be?
The queen is usually in the center of the brood chamber, which is right in the middle. We didn't see her on any of the other frames.
So is this the middle?
Yep, right where we're at is the middle. So here we go. You ready? Okay. Yep, if I see her, I will show her to you and let you find her. But first we gotta see if we can find the queen, okay? Because we probably need to mark her. So do you know why we mark our queens sometimes?
So we can notice them?
Yes, and what's a good reason? Here's another good reason that you're probably not gonna know. So another good reason to mark your queen is because you wanna know how old she is. The bees will start having issues as the queen gets older. Some of my bees I've noticed, oh, she's got pollen pants on her, look at her. Some of my queens I noticed that the bees are starting to become a little bit more on the interesting side, and that's because their queens are 2 years old. So that's been kind of a learning lesson for me. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, but we'll figure that out as we go along. And if I remember correctly, I've never been able to find this queen before, so I will be shocked if I find her, because I want to say I thought she was a smaller queen, and that's why I could never find her last year. So one time I saw her, she was smaller. I never found her again after that. So it's possible that I may have overlooked her already and she might just be small and mighty. That is a possibility. I do not see her at all on here yet. She should be somewhere near the brood chamber in the middle. And to be honest with you, I'm not seeing her just yet, and I didn't see her on any of the other frames, see? So the queen would usually have a dark black thorax because of the race that they are. They have a little bit darker of a black thorax. She kind of moves kind of slow sometimes. She doesn't like the light. This has happened to me before where I couldn't find my queens. So there's a few I found this last year. What? What's at the bottom? Those are the drones that fell, remember? So look, those are Undertaker bees. The Undertaker bees are going to grab the drones. Oh, she's carrying them out. Here she goes. Watch out of the front entrance. You'll see her. The Undertaker bees will take out the dead bodies and they take them out the front entrance and they move them as far away from the hive as possible to keep the hive sanitary, okay?
What's
sanitary? Sanitary means that they don't have anything stinking up in their hives. So they don't want anything decomposing. They need everything to be super antimicrobial and antibacterial. And that is how they like to keep their beehives nice and clean. So I'm going to tell you right now, I do not see her, and I know she's in here, but I don't see her. So again, we went through all of these frames, Gatlin, and this bottom box needs to be worked really bad because there's a lot of empty frames. So what we're gonna do, everything looks really good, but this is what we need to do. We need to swap the boxes, okay, Gatlin? So we're gonna have to swap the boxes. I did not find the queen. I went through all the frames on both sides and I never found the queen, okay? Here we go. So I'm going to take the top box that's over here on the ground and I'm going to pick it up and put it over here. I'm going to take this box and swap them. That means that the queen will be reversed. Everything will be flipped. And then this will allow her to continue laying eggs like she is.
Okay.
But then they can fill up the top box now because we're flipping them, okay? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I do not know what she looks like. And I remember last year, I never saw her last year.
Here's
I don't
one
know.
of the here's one of
The drones are flying. You know, they say that after the drones...
my finger, Mom.
Yes, there he is. He's on there. Very good. So with the drones flying, this is a very good thing because that means that any of the splits I do will be successful because the drones will mate with the queens.
It's so big.
Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to have to put this back. Drones do not have a stinger.
So they're like boys?
They are boys. Yep, they do not have a stinger. They are really good bees.
Oh, there's a girl in the-
All of our
where did the
bees are
boy
good.
go?
Yep, all of our bees are good. Okay, so we're going to have to switch the boxes, Gatlin, so I'm going to need you to move, okay? Here we go, Gatlin. Are you ready? I'll need you to flip around, sister.
Yeah, the boy fell.
Yeah, that's okay. He's probably just hanging out. So what we're going to do, Gatlin, I have to switch these around really quick because we're going to have to move these over. Yep, here we go. Okay. I have no idea where my queen is. I just hope she's not on this side because I don't want to squish her on accident. I'm not trying to by any means. I just got to get this all situated. There we go. Okay, now bees like the perfect amount of space, not too much.
Not too.
Yep, so here we go. You ready? So I'm going to push these together. Now I have to flip these. So I have to put this one on the bottom and that one on the top, okay? So here we go. So I got to loosen this up. We got all this space. They need to be flipped for sure. And once this box is almost full, then we can add a honey super and see if they produce honey this year, okay? But in the meantime, here we go. We're going to flip them around, okay? I'm going to put the inner cover on the ground. I'm going to take this hive, put this hive here on my inner cover so it's not touching the ground. Okay? This is what we're going to do. Now let's check the bottom. We actually don't have a whole lot of dead bees down here, which is really, really good. Yeah, I just see some worker bees and I see the drones right here. So we can take this off if we want. We could get rid of that poor little drones. We can let them pull out the drones too. That's their job. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. Gatlin, you ready? I got to put this hive right here. I got to pick them up. And we'll put them down, Gatlin. Here we go. Ready?
Aren't you
Okay, you ready? Look at this. So this was up top. Now it's on the bottom, okay? Are you ready? Okay, now I gotta move this over just a hair. We're gonna pick up the other one and we're gonna put it right down here, okay? And I wish I had something better than this rock. It doesn't seem to be the best idea. It was holding up for a while. Now it's kind of not, but for now, until I can build like some kind of a nail or something is what I'm thinking. A nail would be appropriate, but I have to bring out the nail gun and nail it all back together again. Well, I can't nail it together again because it's already broken, so it would just be a makeshift thing. Okay.
Mom, there's like a silver bee.
Okay, hold on 1 second. We're gonna go ahead and put the other box on. You ready? Okay, so here's the other box, okay? And the entrance reducer got stuck on here. So now we gotta take off the entrance reducer, because the entrance reducer actually goes in the front, okay? See how they're fanning right here? They're fanning the Nasanov glands, so they're trying to say this is home. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this entrance reducer in here. Excuse me, girls. Okay? What we're gonna have to do is pick this up, push it in there, and let it sit on top of there. They can go back in, okay? Now this will allow the bees to move up and fill up the frames that they weren't moving up, okay? Here we go. I've got this part. You gotta put the boxes facing the same direction if you can. Ready? I gotta get rid of this piece. Excuse me. Excuse me, bees. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. So this box is on top of this box. Here we go. Nice and tight. There we go. Now the drones are up here. See? The whole area got flipped around, okay? You try to clean up some of your frames if you can. If you blow on the bees, they don't like it. So usually you can get away with blowing on them to make some room.
So they move?
Yeah, they usually move because they don't like your breath. And you got some babies in here from the nurse bees. So the nurse bees will be taking care of the babies. Oh, there's a bee stuck in there. She's kind of stuck in between this little wedge here of, here she goes.
Honeycomb.
Yeah, honeycomb. It's just kind of beeswaxy comb. Yep. There you go. So you got to clean this off.
There's like honey on it.
Okay, so now if I clean this off, why? Because then it's nice and clean area. Then I can put the inner cover on here. When I put the inner cover on, guess what happens? It won't get stuck to it anymore. So there we go, we're done, okay? Here you go, Gatlin. So here's your inner cover, you ready? We're gonna put the inner cover back on. That way they have a second entrance up there, nice and pretty. Yep, the bees go through here. So here's our shims. We like to do shims on our inner cover. And then we take our sugar syrup and we put the sugar syrup over here on top of the shims, which gives a little bit of bee space. We like to keep an empty super on top for ventilation purposes, especially during the winter. And can you hand me the roof over there? That would be awesome if you can hand me that big old heavy roof. Yep. Good job. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So now we are done. Stay away from the front of the entrance, okay? You don't want to bother the bees front of the entrance. There you go. So that's it. This is your basic beehive. Then we have on here the bottom board. And with this bottom board, what's really crazy is, get this. You ready? Let's stand in front of the camera so we can show everybody. This is all the bee trash. So you can see some bees walking around. Anytime that the bees
When you say bee
come
trash,
out.
do you mean bee poop?
Nope, not bee poop, but the bee trash. So this is all from them eating through all the